First T20I results ZIM vs IND. And with that, we wrap up this first T20I. India failed to chase the target that was below run A ball. But it was this Zimbabwean side that fought valiantly till the end. Don't miss any update, subscribe my channel for entertainment news. And as they say, cricket is a good old funny game, this one zigzagged through and through. It ended up as a sure-shot blockbuster. Zimbabwe go up 1-0 in this 5-match T20I series. It's a quick turnaround then, as the second T20I will be played in less than a span of 24 hours or so and will be played on the 7th of July, Sunday. The first ball will be bowled at 4:30 p.m. IST, 11 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Till then, take care and cheers. The Zimbabwean skipper, Sikander Raza, is the player of the match for his all-round brilliance. He says that he feels really happy about the win but need to take one game at a time. Adds that they will enjoy this victory but the series is not over yet. Lauds the bowlers of both sides for the way they bowled. Mentions that the surface was sticky and there was turn on offer as well. Says that he is really happy that the bowlers stuck to the plans. Further says that the catching and ground fielding was amazing. States it with the crowd support, it felt like they were playing with 12 guys. Shubman Gill, the captain of India, says that they bowled pretty well. Also mentions they let themselves down in the fielding department. Adds there wasn't much pressure on their shoulders but things really didn't work for them with the bat. Says halfway down the stage they lost half their side and reckons had he stayed in the middle for long, things could have been different. Appreciates the way Washington Sundar batted out. Ends by saying overall, they didn't collectively play well as a group. Clive Madand is in for a chat. He says that he just wanted to bat through and tried to get as many as he could. Adds that he tried to protect his partner and ended up getting 115, which was a decent total on this wicket. Shares that he told Chatara to keep it simple and tried to let him play just 2 balls in an over. Ends by saying that the talk at the halfway mark was to give it all no matter what. Time for the post-match presentation ceremony. Earlier in the game, India invited the hosts to have a go with the bat first. Zimbabwe were dented really badly by the Indian spinners. Ravi Bishnoi ran through their batting and finished with his career best figures, including a sensational 4-fair. He was partnered pretty well by Washington Sundar, who also troubled the batters and picked a 2-wicket haul. None of the Zimbabwean batters actually tried to stabilize the innings and threw their wickets away, and of course, were outfoxed by the Indian spin duo. Zimbabwe, however, crossed the triple figures thanks to Clive Madand's handy cameo of 29 that came towards the back end. In their defense, Zimbabwe executed a near-perfect fightback, barring a few moments of hiccups, and didn't let India go through. The Zimbabwean bowlers used the variations perfectly and didn't let any Indian batter be at ease. Sikander Raza only compounded the pressure further and got a couple of scalps to his name. But that partnership between Avesh and Sundar surely got their heartbeats on again, but Raza got the better of him in the end. Then came another turnaround as Luke Jongwe bowled a very poor over and conceded 12 runs in the 18th over. But those last 2 overs from Blessing Muzarabani and Tendai Chatara respectively, really choked down the defending champions. Talk about a crazy turnaround. Zimbabwe was staring at a tough job, trying to defend a tiny score. But man, did they deliver or what? Chatara and Muzarabani came out swinging, knocking over India's big guns before they could even get going. Just like that, Zimbabwe flipped the script in those first few overs. Suddenly, a game that looked like a snoozefest turned into a real nail-biter. Luke Jongwe around the halfway mark broke a brewing partnership by removing Jurel. Shubman Gill was the sole exception who appeared at ease up top. The dismissal of the debutant Abhishek Sharma set off a chain reaction, leading to a rapid loss of 3 more wickets in short order. India was desperate for someone to step up and stop the bleeding. Entered a confident-looking debutant Dhruv Jurel. He failed to have any sort of impact. India was desperate for someone to step up and stop the bleeding. Entered a confident-looking debutant Dhruv Jurel. He failed to have any sort of impact. Meanwhile, Gill was holding down the fort like a champ, but even he couldn't last forever. Just when you thought he might save the day, he got out for 31. As this game was a bag full of surprises, it was the stand between Washington Sundar and Avesh Khan that kind of brought back the hopes. But Khan couldn't dispatch that juicy full toss into the stands and was gone as well. However, India's last hope, Washington Sundar, held onto his nerves and counterpunched strongly like a lone warrior. He struck a few lusty blows that ascended the hopes back, but in the end, Those dots towards the backhand proved and cost India dearly. The reigning T20 world champions are rocked, shell-shocked. Zimbabwe script a history and the Harare Sports Club echoes with celebrations of the glory of the home side. Aren't you entertained? This game had all our nerves jangling and heartbeats pounding that could defeat any stethoscope. India's batting lineup crumbled early, with wickets falling in quick succession. The unpredictable bounce of the pitch seemed to trouble most batters. But credit to Zimbabwe, they bowled really well. Zimbabwe script a famous win, upstaging the reigning T20 champions. Tendai Chitara bends his back and directs a good bumper, aimed at the batter. Washington Sundar goes for the pull but he is tucked up for room and the ball gets big on him too. Gets a top edge that goes in the air and only as far as backward square leg. Blessing Muzarabani from short fine leg, runs to his right and keeps his eyes on the ball all the way through before diving full length to take a brilliant catch. The ball stays in his grasp even as his elbow hits the turf. The crowd are jubilant as are Sikandar Raza and his men. Zimbabwe win by 13 runs to take a 1-0 lead in the series.